Hey, welcome to another video about Forest, a tree editor for TypeScript. If you haven't seen the Hello World video yet, you should see that one first. What this is going to be is a video which goes into writing a few slightly more complicated programs, kind of a where to go from Hello World video. I'm going to go a little faster this time, explain stuff a little bit less, so feel free to stop and rewind this if you need to. So let me just open up Forest and write the program we had last time, which is this console log hello world. So it was the expression statement with a call, property access, console log, and the literal hello world as its argument. So when you get the hang of things, of course it's still slower than writing text directly, but it's not too bad. And there are some things which are a little more convenient or just feel different when editing a tree. So I really encourage you to try it for writing slightly more complicated stuff and getting a feel for those things. So what we're going to do in this video is just go step by step through pieces of code which get more and more complicated and explain different features and problems or tricks with Forest along the way. So where I want to go from this console log hello world is writing a function hello, which contains this console log. So let's focus the expression statement and use something we actually didn't use in the hello world tutorial, which is the delete action. It's pretty straightforward. You have a node focused, you press X, it gets deleted. So I'm going to insert a new thing in the main, specifically a function declaration. So let me just insert that. Okay, so this is a function declaration. I'm going to print it out to the console. You'll see some stuff is a little broken here. So the error we're getting here is because the function doesn't have a name, and that's not technically valid in this position without a body. So let's start by giving this function a name. Now, there's no set from string action on this node. There's no name that you can find anywhere else, so it's not really immediately clear how to give things like this a name in Forest. And that's because there's actually a whole nother level of children that you're not seeing at the moment. The way you get to that is by pressing this toggle meta level button. So press M on the function, and you'll see a panel like this. These children of the function are its meta level children. They're children you don't see immediately when you're navigating around the tree. And if you navigate out, they'll disappear. But whenever you're on a node, if a node has meta level children, you'll see them when you press F. M for meta. So here you can see there's the name of the function, arguments, type parameters, return type, things like that. These names are sometimes a little confusing because they're coming more or less directly from the TypeScript AST. For example, this asterisk token makes the function into a generator function, which is probably not clear. The other thing that's new here is this option none. In the AST, in some places things are either like present and maybe empty, or not present. And there's a difference between not present and present but empty. And that's something we see in the AST of this name node. So when you see option none at the moment, the node is not present. The only action you can do with it is toggle. There's no set from string to set the name. But when you press T, this option none becomes a value, and now we have a set from string on it. But we can also press T to toggle it back to the option none. So toggle it so that it's actually a value. And now you can use the set from string to set the name of the function. Hello, print it. Now it's actually also valid code. So now we have the function with a name. Now we need to add a body. Go back to the function node itself, and you'll see this also has a toggle, right? But it doesn't have an append action like we had here in the TypeScript file itself. And what we want is an append action to add a new statement to this function. But we can only do that after we've toggled it. So pay attention to what the code was in the terminal before. Now I'll toggle this function and press 0. And you'll see now the function has a body, right? It's an empty body, but an empty body is not the same thing as no body. And that's what this toggle is used for mostly in Forest. And now that we've toggled this node that it has a body, you see we have the option of using the append action. So I'll press Control right and put a new thing into this function. Confusingly, the first thing that's appended to a function is another function. That's just a bad default. But we can press V for set variant to put in anything we could before. So we can write the usual hello world, expression statement, call expression property access, console log, hello world, and we'll get the function we wanted. So you probably noticed I'm using some shortcuts here and not going through the normal search menu. So the way you do that is when you have a node and you press V to go into the set variant menu, you don't press space to search, but you directly type in the letters for a shortcut to select a specific thing. So for example, ID makes an identifier, or ST makes a string literal. And the way you find these shortcuts is by going to the set variant menu, pressing space, and looking at these letters in the brackets here. These are the shortcut keys. It's not the nicest, not every node has a shortcut, but it's usually a lot faster to write things like this. Okay, so we've written the function hello, console log hello world. Let me show you another little detail of this. So when I wrote this function here in VS Code, I didn't just delete the hello world and start from scratch, right? I took this piece of text and I kind of wrote the function around it. So you can't do that in Forest directly, but you can do something different to the same effect. So I'm going to delete the function, start out with just an empty hello world. And now I'm going to write the function around it, right? So at the moment we only have a hello world. So the typical way you do that in Forest is you press C to copy the node before you start. Then you press V or something else to replace it with a new piece of tree, like this function declaration. And then you put something, a node on your screen that you want to replace with the pasted thing. So for example, it's this second layer of function here. Then you press P to replace it. And now this function, the first value in this function body has been replaced by this call expression that we copied over. So that's the typical way you would kind of write this function around the expression without deleting it. So let me add back the name, hello, and we're back at this code that we wanted to have. Okay. Now let's just go for a few more things. Let's give this function an argument. So call it name, string, and let's print the name over here. Okay, so let's write that in first. So adding the argument is just a combination of things we've already seen. So you have to focus the function node, switch to the meta level to see these things, go down to the parameters, and notice it has an append. Press Control right to add a new thing, in this case a parameter. And now this one parameter has a name you set from string to set it. That's hello, and we have this. Okay, so now we need not hello, name. So now we have this. We're still missing the type annotation on the name argument. For that you have to go down to type, first toggle, because it's option none. Defaults to any type, and then press set variant to change it to something else, and there's a string keyword in here. Okay, so that's a new argument. Now let's add the hello plus world down here. So go back out of the meta level arguments and then over to the call expression to the hello world argument. Let's replace this whole string with something called a binary expression. This is used for pretty much anything where you have some kind of symbol, two things on the left and right, just syntactically in TypeScript. So at the moment it's adding to empty strings. I'm going to use setFromString to change that to hello, make this one an identifier using vid, and then call this identifier name, and we have the function we wanted. Okay, let's write an if statement. So let's do if name is Philip, console log hi Philip. It's just changing hello to hi effectively. So here we have the function. Here we have the first statement, which is the call to console log. So we want to add a new thing to the body of this function. There's actually two ways you can do this, and so far we've only been using one. So the first way, which you've already used, is you focus the function and you use the append action by pressing Ctrl right. It actually always adds a new child to whatever node you had focused. The other way is when you're focused on one of the children, like this console log call, you can press Ctrl down to add something below it, or Ctrl up to add things above it. And that way you can insert stuff in the middle of a tree. And it's generally a lot more powerful and a lot more convenient sometimes than appending to the parent node. So I'm going to start with this, append a new statement, and I'm going to go set variant and pick out the if statement. So here you see an if statement. The condition is an empty string. The body is just not there. Again, a great default. What we want is name equals Philip, console log hi Philip. So let's go over to this branch of the if statement and look at the condition. The thing we need for the condition here to get this name equals Philip is a binary expression like we've seen before. So v binary expression, there we go. But that's a plus at the moment. So go over to the operator here, press set variant. What you need is the equals token. And that's where these shortcuts become especially helpful, because if you just press V and enter the shortcut key here, which is equals, you don't have to search for equals token in that list. Okay, so we're closer now. Let's make the left side of this an identifier with vid name, and on the right the string is already okay. So let's fill it with setFromString to Philip. So now we have the condition of the if statement. We need the body. Focus on the empty statement here, which is the statement that the if is going to execute, and take a look at its set variant menu. So one of the things we have in this menu is a block. That's these curly braces, and if you want to put curly braces here, you have to be explicit at the moment. So typically you'll have block inside your ifs, unless you want to call a function or something directly without using curly braces. So I've added this block here, and you see now I can append to it, something you couldn't do before. So let's append to the block, and then we wanted to have a console log. Okay, so expression statement call property access console log. Hi Philip. Okay, so that code's done. Now let's add something to this if statement. Let's, instead of writing the code like this, write it like this. So only have it console log hello name if it's not already console logging hi Philip, and not both, in case the name is Philip. So let's add this else branch. So this is the if statement. This is the branch of the if statement we have for name equals Philip, right? What we want to do is add another branch. So like I said before, you can append to the if statement, or you can press Ctrl down on the branch to add another below it. Let's copy over the condition. Actually, no, let's not do that. Let's see what this generates to at the moment. So it actually generates to an else. And that's an interesting thing here because the condition says true. This is being generated to an else statement instead of an else if true. If we make the condition here, for example, be some kind of binary expression like 0 less than 8, then it will generate to an else if. But with the Boolean literal true, it just generates to an else branch. And this is a bit special. So the TypeScript AST is actually not like this. What's happening here is Forest is showing us a transformed version of the AST, which is slightly simplified. And this if, where you can add the branches and have them generate to else ifs, that transform is called flat if in Forest. What you can do if you're interested is you can go into your console and set no transform equals true. And then the next time you navigate the tree, you'll see the original untransformed version of the AST. So here you can see this function, the hello function, has everything actually on one level. So the body is now not like the main children here, and the stuff is meta level. It's just all on one level. There's no meta level anymore. You'll see some other stuff like the name, for example. You could always explicitly see the option in the name and the value separately. Oops. Well, yep, that's prototype. Oh well. Oh, that was partially saved. I'm going to add back the if statement. And then get back to the explanation. Okay. If then that console log. And then let's do a binary expression. Name. Philip console log. Yeah. Hi Philip. And we wanted that inside a block. Okay. Almost there. So what I was trying to say is if you turn transforms off, you'll see the tree gets a lot bigger, a lot more raw, and these transforms in Forest are making it slightly more readable and slightly more convenient to work with. And specifically, you'll see the if statement here always has this then else structure. And if you have multiple else branches, they start to nest away in one direction, and it's really painful to edit. And that's the kind of stuff Forest is simplifying for us with its transforms. So let's add the branch to the if, now that we know how it's being generated. Let's add this else branch, console log, hello Philip. Sorry, hello name instead of hi Philip in that case. So focus the branch, press Control down to add a sibling. Leave that condition true to just get an else branch. And then go over to the console log, call, create a new child here, paste that in. We get this. And then let's change this to a binary expression. Hello, plus is already there. Identifier, name. Okay. So, you've seen a little bit of the transforms in Forest. You've seen the meta level. You've seen how to use shortcuts. You have seen how to navigate around the tree in general. And really, that's most of the functionality of Forest. There's some stuff which is weird, some stuff which takes getting used to. And I might cover bits of that in future videos. But really, this is enough to actually start writing some code. Okay, thanks for watching.